The World Wrestling Federation. For over 50 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment.
Oh, it's live, pal.
We're really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never, ever end.
Everybody three count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Or maybe The Rock has got to beat Triple H himself, which means he's got to beat the game in the middle of the ring. And he has a $2 for a wife.
You're too damn selfish, and that's why you're sitting there with a bad leg, and that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg.
You guys talk about being students of the game. I am the game, JR.
3 ain't enough now, I need 5. Welcome in Jim, Ryan, Matt, Tim, and intern Mark.
Oh my goodness, what do we do? There's a 1, there's a 2. Oh, wow.
So make no mistake about it, this is an official declaration of war. This is what you call a paradigm shift.
What's going on, everybody? 3 Count Thursday. Only Jim here with you on a, well, if you're listening to this on Monday, it is Monday, July the 20th, 2020. If you are listening to it today, that means you are a Patreon subscriber to us, and we do appreciate all of our Patreon supporters, and we thank you and hope you're doing well. If you are listening to this not through our Patreon, first off, shame on you. Secondly, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/3CountThursday. But also we thank you for subscribing to us in any fashion. We're not only in it for the Patreon subscribers, but we thought we'd give this one a little bit of a special drop for the Patreon folk on Monday. Otherwise, it is dropping on Tuesday for everybody else. But I'm gonna review and recap and give my thoughts on the Impact Slammiversary show, because I know not everybody in the 3 Count crew was able to watch the show this past weekend. So I thought I would do this one myself, and that will give us plenty of other discussion, of course, Thursday Night Live for our normal 3 Count Thursday. Make sure you go to 3countthursday.com to find all of our social media, our YouTube channel, our podcast links to both our full show as well as the 3 Count Thursday hot tag, which we take the best segments of the week, we break them down and give them to you in smaller to digest form. Of course, our home network, ngscsports.com. So this past Saturday live was the Impact Slammiversary. This was the 16th Slammiversary. It was at the Skyway Studios, Nashville, Tennessee, of course, because with no fans, obviously, because of the continuing coronavirus pandemic. Now, if you listened to our show last week, I was very honest. I have not been a regular Impact viewer for a very long time. In fact, the last Impact match that I can remember watching, at least we're watching live, was when Tessa Blanchard won the Impact World Championship from Sami Callihan. So it has been a while since I've really dived into the Impact world and was really aware of storylines and characters and all of that sort. So I kind of went into this one blind. And you know, and obviously if you listen to our show, I've questioned whether or not I would buy an Impact or AEW pay-per-view because of the cost. I mean, $30, $40, $50, depending on what this one was, $39.99. You know, I question that because I've gotten very spoiled with the WWE Network and $9.99 a month, and you get takeovers and you get all the pay-per-views and all the other content, and to spend 4 times as much for one show, it's very different. It's something that is much different than just having the network and having it on demand. I get other companies don't have the library and don't have the content and don't have everything to have that network. So I'm not shaming any company. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong by not having a service like the WWE Network. It's just that's where I usually come from. But I decided, you know what? There was a lot of hype around this show. Obviously, Saturday was the day that the majority of the released WWE talent from back in April was able. It was the end of the 90 days. It was their first day. They're able to sign somewhere else, appear somewhere else, work somewhere else, and obviously right now, not a lot of places to work. So this is one that had my attention. Prior to the show, at midnight on Saturday, the Good Brothers, along with Impact Wrestling, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, announced and confirmed the rumors that had been speculated for weeks that they had indeed signed with Impact Wrestling and that they would be at Slammiversary. So that had my attention right off the bat. There was a tag team match that had an open challenge. I'm like, that's the perfect spot. I said it last week in our predictions. And that's the match they started the show with. The Rascals, Zach Wentz, Desmond Xavier, former guest of this show. They came out, and then it was, here's the mystery opponent. And I thought for sure we were getting the Good Brothers, Carl and Luke Gallows. Wrong. It was a tag team from back when I was a somewhat regular Impact viewer. The Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, back together in Impact Wrestling. So that was an awesome return, an awesome moment. Unfortunately, as has been the case with many debuts, returns, call-ups, whatever, in 2020, no fanfare, no crowd. The Impact had no crowd at all, which, had been WWE's model for a while, and then WWE kind of took the AEW model and have the wrestlers as a crowd, but no crowd whatsoever for Impact, which I'm totally fine with, actually. Less people there, less chance of problems. But it would have been an awesome moment. This match, 14 minutes, 17 seconds. Motor City Machine Guns pick up the victory in their return. I loved it. I thought it was a great match to open up the card with. High energy, great tag team work. Really, there wasn't anything that jumped out to me as anything went wrong. Like I'm not. And I'm not. I don't do the thing, especially right now. I'm not going to sit there and write down a little note for every time somebody, slips on a rope or, might miss a tag or looks half a second lost or something like that. I'm just not going to do that right now. Like this is the one form of entertainment that we have on a steady, regular basis throughout this entire situation. So I'm not going to sit there and be crazy nitpicky with it. I haven't done it with WWE. I haven't really done it with AEW, and I'm not going to do it here with Impact. So a great opening match to start the show. Then we went to the old school rules match for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, the unsanctioned TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Of course, Moose resurrecting that title, calling himself the true world's champion. In this one, Moose against Tommy Dreamer. Moose gets the win, 11 minutes and 18 seconds. This one felt a lot longer than 11 minutes and 18 seconds. And one of my biggest pet peeves, and I pick at it, and this, to me, this doesn't feel like I'm being super nitpicky. I feel like this is something that should be done. It was an old school rules match. I don't know what that means. I watched this show, and I didn't know what that meant when the match was happening. It's multiple days later. I still don't know what that means. Want to know why? Because they didn't explain it. And I know that sometimes longtime wrestling fans, weekly wrestling fans, long-term invested wrestling fans get mad at the WWE because they explain the rules for every Royal Rumble, every ladder match, every fatal four-way, every this, every that. But here's why they do that. Because maybe, just maybe, there's going to be somebody like me for this show, this Slammiversary, tuning in, that hasn't watched the product in a long time, or maybe watching it for the first time, and they don't know what an old school rules match is. So now we have to play the game of, okay, is a chair legal? Is there a count out? Is there disqualifications? Is it falls count anywhere? Is it an I quit match? Is it a last man standing match? Is it, is somebody going to get knocked out? Is it a normal pin? Are submissions allowed? Are rope breaks allowed? And I know I'm getting a little deep on what is and what isn't allowed, but that's my point. They explained it. Now, the next match, which we'll talk about, but the Gauntlet for the Gold match for the Impact Knockouts Championship, #1 contender, they explained, the rules were weird, but they explained that it was throw them over the top onto the floor until the last two competitors, and then it goes to a referee will get in the ring, and it'll be a regular wrestling decision. So whatever you thought of that next match, the Gauntlet, at least they explained the rules, because this old school rules match had weapons, didn't seem to have any countouts. So, I mean, I've been watching wrestling for over 30 years. I was able to figure out that, okay, I guess there's really not any rules in this one. But my issue is that it wasn't explained. You should always assume that there is at least somebody in your audience for a show that is watching the product for the first time. So when it's something that's different than a normal match, you should explain at least the general rules. Like, hey, old school rules means weapons are allowed, no disqualification. Perfect. Simple. I can move on. But they didn't do that. The match itself, not very good at all either. And it's Tommy Dreamer, a legend, especially in hardcore matches, ECW. Moose is super athletic, super, he's big guy, super talented, but to me there wasn't a whole lot of chemistry in this one. The match felt very long. The next one was, of course, like I said, the Gauntlet for the Gold match, determined #1 contender for the Impact Knockouts Championship. It finished Kylie Ray last eliminating Taya Valkyrie, 19 minutes and 20 seconds. Once they got to Taya and Kylie Ray, the match was fine. A lot of it before then wasn't that great. It wasn't horrible, but it was a battle royal. It was a battle royal style match. They had a couple of spots with John E. Bravo, who entered as Taya Valkyrie and then as Rosemary. I didn't get that, but again, that's me not watching the product, not being aware of who John E. Bravo is. Commentary, Josh Matthews and Don Callis did not do a very good job at giving any explanation as to why John E. Bravo was doing this, besides he's a wacko. To me, that was kind of a mistake there on commentary's part. Katie Forbes in this match felt like a really bad WWE Attitude Era knockoff. Like she comes out just twerking, and it just in a time where bra and panty matches and Jello matches and evening gown matches and things like that are a thing of the distant past for great reasons. Katie Forbes just felt really out of place to me. That character, that presentation just felt really out of place for me. It just didn't feel like what I've become used to in wrestling in the last couple of years. So that kind of turned me off a bit. Lots of talent in this match. It just, something was missing. It seemed a little sloppy at times. But like I said, once it came down to Kylie Ray and Taya Valkyrie, the business picked up there. Kylie gets the win. super happy for her. We called a match down in Delaware where she won a tournament on an indie show, and she super talented. So Kylie gets the win. She will have a title match, an Impact Knockouts Championship match coming up at some point here. The next one, Chris Bay defeated Willie Mack to become the new Impact X Division champion. This match 10 minutes and 1 second. I thought this match could have went longer, but it was a really good match. Again, I don't know. These are two superstars that I'm unfamiliar with, Chris Bay and Willie Mack both. I loved Willie Mack's gear, a play on Razor Ramon's gear. So I absolutely loved that. Now I know listener of the show, Nick, who I believe, if all goes according to plan, will be joining us this week on 3 Count Thursday. He kind of commented that he wasn't a fan of Bay getting the title, as he thinks he's a little botchy, and just he just wasn't a fan of the decision, the booking decision. For me, again, I came in with no reference, so I couldn't speak for or against Nick's reaction to the match and to the victory by Chris Bay. But I loved this match a lot. I thought these guys worked really well together, and Bay capturing the Impact X Division title. The next match, and this is from that match on. So there are 7 matches on the card. These last 4, really I thought made the pay-per-view worth it, especially the final 2 matches. Kind of the double main event or whatever. But the North, Ethan Page, Josh Alexander, successfully defended their Impact Tag Team titles against, as Ryan called them on last week's show, Team Slap and Spit, Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan. 15 minutes, 56 seconds on this one. In terms of tag team wrestling, and in 2020, I know there's hard debates on what tag team division is best, who does tag team wrestling the best, and whatnot. I know there's a lot of people that say AEW does it best. The WWE doesn't know how to book tag teams. Blah blah blah. For the greater portion of this match, I thought this was a really, really good, cohesive, well booked tag team match. The referee had control of, who was the legal man, who wasn't. Tags counting through the tags. Towards the end, it got sloppy. It got a little, Shamrock looked to kind of get lost a little bit. But overall, a really good tag team match. And it just, to me, who does tag team best? I don't know. Depends what you're looking for in your tag team division. I've been critical at times of AEW with, not enforcing the rules that they set out from the beginning of their tag team division. But they have tons of talent. AEW's tag team division is pretty stacked as well. If you break it down. But again, a good match here. And the North picking up their win. A small bit of stats here. The North now has held their Impact Tag Team World Tag Team Championships longer than any championship reign in Impact history. Taya Valkyrie had that at 377 days as knockout champion. The North have passed that, so they are now the longest reigning champions in Impact Wrestling history. So a cool bit of history there for Ethan Page and Josh Alexander. But if you're looking at it, there's a couple of big guys that just returned to Impact that may be looking for those tag team titles. And then this was probably the match in terms of a in-ring product that I was looking forward to the most. And this kind of, erased the Katie Forbes situation from earlier in the card. Deonna Purrazzo challenging Jordynne Grace for her Knockouts Championship and capturing the Knockout Championship by submission, 15 minutes and 12 seconds. This match was really, really good. We have had Deonna on this show as a guest, multiple times. We have seen both of these women wrestle in Central Pennsylvania multiple times. They are two of the absolute best in pro wrestling today. I thoroughly believe that. And for whatever reason, I don't know the reasons. I'm not here to judge the reasons. I'm not here to talk on the reasons. Deonna Purrazzo and WWE/NXT didn't work out. I don't know why. It's a little baffling because I think she's incredible. But their loss, WWE's loss, is definitely Impact's win here. And she walks in and gets the title here at the start. And I know some people are doing she walks in and gets a title shot right away and ends up winning the title. And if people did that in WWE, then people would lose their mind. They would. I'm not denying that. But what I do like to see, and I kind of poked fun at it with Brian Cage walking in and getting the AEW title shot right away, Brody Lee as well. But here's the thing, and I kind of like that we're at this point in professional wrestling, be it WWE, NXT, AEW, probably New Japan or All Japan. I don't know. And even I guess here, even in Impact, we're no longer denying the history of superstars. Like for a long time, if somebody debuted in WWE, they pretended as if they were brand new to the business because they had a new name more times than not. But now, because everything, social media, it is much more easy to get your hands on wrestling content because of YouTube, because of wrestling networks, things like that. Companies, WWE included, seem to not be ignoring superstars, tag teams, past. So you can have a Deonna Purrazzo come to Impact Wrestling and get a title shot right away. And really, it's not that big of a deal. You know how good she is. And there's history between Deonna and Jordynne Grace. So we know that. Like we don't have to pretend that Deonna's never wrestled before. That somehow she's brand new to the business because she's new to Impact Wrestling. And I like that. I like that a lot, that we are at that point in professional wrestling now. But again, a great match. I'm a little surprised that they went with Deonna right away. But when you have that opportunity, somebody who had most recently been visible in the biggest company in the business, whether you love WWE or not, they're the biggest company in the business. You have somebody come over from there. You have the opportunity to strike, and Impact did, and I like that. So Deonna Purrazzo, congratulations, new X Division champ, or not X Division champ, Knockouts champion. And then the main event. Now this is the one that I sat here last week on the show, and I said it's gonna be EC3. I played the music because there was a to be announced fourth man, and I really thought EC3 is gonna come home. This is the place that he succeeded to the highest in his career. So it was Eddie Edwards, Ace Austin, and Trey. And then the fourth man, returning from injury, Rich Swann. And I'm not knocking Rich Swann. Rich Swann, super talented in the ring. Great superstar. Great wrestler. It was a letdown for me because I was like, I am ready to hear ladies and gentlemen. EC3. Trouble, 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 trouble. But alas, this was not to be just a fatal four-way, because there was more music that hit, and it was the return to Impact Wrestling of Eric Young. Now again, I have nothing against Eric Young. He had in Impact Wrestling, he was probably the peak of his career as well. And WWE missed the ball big time with Sanity. Big time. I loved them in NXT. They missed it big time. So again, I think WWE's loss is Impact's gain here. But it fell flat for me. For me, not for a lot of people, but for me. Now this match itself, 24 minutes, 25 seconds. Eddie Edwards captures the vacant Impact World Championship, defeating Ace Austin last eliminated. When it got down to Eddie and Ace Austin, I know there's been a lot of teases about are Aces and Ace back. The Good Brothers hadn't appeared on the screen yet. Thought, man, this is the moment. This is the moment right here. Aces and Eights, they're going to screw Eddie Edwards. Ace Austin's going to be the new leader. But no, that's not what happened. Eddie Edwards picks up the victory. Congratulations to Eddie Edwards, new Impact World Champion. And then the Good Brothers come out, and I'm like, hey, here we go. Business is picking up now. And I thought they're going to attack Eddie Edwards and start this thing. No, they attack Ace Austin. So goes off the air with Eddie and the Good Brothers toasting each other with Good Brother Lager or Talking Shop beer, whatever it's called. So, and I think it was just Miller Lights in koozies, but regardless, a beer bash to end the show, always a good time. So congratulations to Eddie Edwards. So that was the show. Now during the event, Heath Miller, I think they're calling him, or just Heath, but Heath Slater, came out, cut a promo, and then went to the back, talked to Rhino, got ejected from the building because closed set. He's not signed. As they said on the show, not signed. You know, coronavirus concerns. You gotta. It's closed set. You can't be here. I loved Heath showing up here. I think this could be a great fit for him. You know, the move to Impact did great things for guys like Christian. I think this could be a potential career moment for Heath Slater. And then as the show went off the air, a vignette it played. EC3 turns around and throws a glass against the wall, and the show ends. Impact has since announced that EC3 will be on the show. I believe if I read the if I read the tweet right, that he would be, looks like he will even be opening the show tomorrow night, Tuesday night, for Impact Wrestling on Access. So here's the thing. I will be tuning in tomorrow night for Impact Wrestling, Tuesday night for Impact Wrestling, because I love EC3. And I've been really interested to see where he ends up. I know he's been teasing Ring of Honor. I know he's been teasing AEW, but I think this is the best fit here. This is where he's thrived. This is where people really know EC3. And that's a good thing. This is I think, you know, and not that he wouldn't necessarily thrive or do extremely well in AEW or somewhere else, because I think he could. Again, he's ridiculously talented, especially on the mic, and that's where WWE screwed up so bad, and it still baffles me. Like, how do you not give that man a microphone? Like, are you trying to make people forget about him in Impact? Because the reason that people truly care about EC3 is because of his run in Impact. And that's not a knock. That's the truth. The world title runs and the promos and, you know, his time with Dixie and then his time with Spud. And, man, the WWE, they missed hard on EC3. So that was the show. I'm happy I bought it. It wasn't the best pay-per-view of the year, but it was good. Now to go along with my new grading system that I unveiled, I think it was for Elimination Chamber? No. What was the WWE pay-per-view? I got to look this up here now. Before Extreme Rules. It was Backlash. I unveiled the new grading system for Backlash, where I gave each match a letter grade and then with a score, and then I add them all up, divide by the number of matches. That's my grade for the show. So I don't have arbitrary numbers. I did that for our co-host Matt, who seems to give me hell if I don't prove my work. It's like a geometry equation. If I don't prove my work, then I don't pass the quiz. So I gave the opening tag match an A. The TNA World Title match, I gave it a D. I just didn't like it. The Impact Knockouts Championship gauntlet for the gold, I gave it a C. The ending was good, but the rest of it just kind of was there. X Division title match, B+. Tag Team Championship match, I gave a B- just because there was a little bit of confusion towards the end. And then the Knockouts Championship and the World Championship match, I gave both them an A. So that comes out to 582 points. Divide that by 7, this show gets an 83, so it's a B-. And I think that's about where I had it in my head. Just on Saturday night when the show was over, I thought, that's about a B show, B-, somewhere in the B's. So that math works out. And don't worry, Matt, I did the same grading for the horror show at Extreme Rules last night. Now I did pose a question on our social media today. I told people I was recording, and if they wanted me to cover or answer any questions. We did get one in. John asked, do you think they might stick to Ace becoming the youngest champion still? They have until February. I mean, I think it's possible. I don't know what the relationship between the Good Brothers and Eddie Edwards is going to be, if they're going to be a little bit of a faction, or if this was like a one-off thing, just to kind of fire a shot at Ace Austin. I don't know. That'll be something to watch over the next the coming weeks and coming months. But you know, I don't see any reason why Ace Austin would fall out of the main event picture. I mean, the guy's super talented, and I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be up there near the top. So I liked it. I mean, I'm definitely going to stay a little bit more invested, at least in the short term here with Impact, because with EC3's return and the Good Brothers there and Deanna as champion and what they might or might not do with Heath, I'm curious to see it. So like I said, I'm going to be tuning in on Tuesday night when Impact airs on Access, which I have not done in a very long time. So it's going to wrap it up for me. Tune in on Thursday night live, 8 o'clock Eastern time on our Facebook page. That's where 3 Count Thursday live will be. Get ready. For those on Patreon, tonight during Raw, we'll drop the next round of our greatest entrance theme tournament. And if you're listening to this Tuesday or later, then head to our social media, 3 Count Thursday on Facebook and Twitter. There you will find the links to the playlists for the second round, as well as the link to vote on the second round. So make sure you check that out. Just make sure you're following us, subscribe to us on all podcast platforms, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and just go to 3countthursday.com. Everything's there. Check out our home network, NGSC Sports. And until Thursday night, stay safe, stay smart, and go for the pin.